How to throw an exception in Java. In Java, exceptions are the event that disturb the normal flow of any program. Exceptions are not the errors. Errors are the elements that are not anticipated beforehand. But an expert developer can anticipate an exception so that it can implement some strategies in the code to bypass it. And this strategy is known as the exception handling. In Java, we will get two kinds of exceptions. The first one will be the compile time or checked exception. When we are compiling any code, this exception gets caught. The compiler, when checks the code, the compiler can identify these exceptions and then the code will not run. There are four prominent checked exceptions. They are the class not found exception, no such method exception, file not found exception, and IO exception. Another important exception is the runtime or unchecked exception. These are the exceptions that can pass the compile time checking, but they get stuck at the running time of any code. That means when a piece of code is getting compiled by the compiler cannot mark the element as an exception. But when the compiler goes for executing the code to provide the output, the compiler can identify it is an exception. That means can be identified at the running time when output is coming. That is the reason it is known as the runtime or unchecked exception. There are four different types of exceptions in the runtime category. They are the arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception, null pointer exception, and illegal argument exception. Now, try catch block. If you are going to work with the exception handling, you have to know about the try catch block. The try catch block is the main element in the exception handling. What is the try catch block? Let's understand with the general syntax. See, this is the general syntax. Here, this is the try and this is the catch. What it is doing, the try will check first some statements. If the statements has no exception, both exceptions means the compile exception and runtime exception. If there is no exceptions, then normally the code will be executed. But if there is an exception, then the catch will be executed. How the catch is executed? In the catch, we have to first mention the exception name. A expert developer can understand which type of exception it can come under the try. So he has to mention the exception name along with the variable. Normally the variable is small e. So the exception name have to mention along with the variable. Now with this variable we can print the exception message with the help of the getMessage inbuilt function. How it is work completely you can understand when we will move ahead for our next section. But for the time being, I hope you have understood the general syntax. The general syntax is simple. First the try, second the catch. Now in the program we will implement three types of function. The first one will be the function checked. In the function checked, two different types of checked functions, checked exceptions will be implemented. Here we will implement class not found exception and method not found exception. The second one will be the function unchecked. In the function unchecked, two different types of unchecked exceptions will be implemented. Here we will implement the arithmetic exception and array index out of bound exception. Last but not the least one, the main function where these two user defined function will be called. Alright, so let us move ahead for the checked function. This is the checked function. In the checked function, The first try catch block has implemented. This try catch block is for the class not found exception. What we are trying to do in the try block, we are accessing a class CodingZap. But I can assure you in our code there is no CodingZap class. So what will it do? It will give an exception. We are trying to access an class CodingZap which is not present. So it is not possible. That is the reason the catch block will be executed. And in the catch block we have mentioned the exception category as well. This is the class not found exception. So only the class not found exceptions will be caught by this catch block. And here you can see we are giving the variable e as the exception. That means in the catch block whenever we will write the e, we are mentioning the exception. This is the print statement where with the help of the get message we are getting the output, exception output, what exception message we are getting. See, okay. Now let us move to the second try catch block. This is the second try catch block. In this try catch block we are going to implement the no such method exception. See here in the main class we are trying to access the method Java, and here there is no such method present. So obviously this is also an exception. As this is an exception, the catch will be executed. In the catch no such method exception we have mentioned. That is the reason this catch block will caught the no such method exception only, and here the get message will be printed. Now let us think it twice. Here a try catch block that has the class not found exception, and in the below there is another block that has the no such method exception. This catch block will hold only the no such method exception, and the above one will hold the no class 1 exception. I hope this complete process you can understand. Let us move ahead for the unchecked function. In the unchecked function, try catch block, the first try catch block has been implemented. This try catch block will access the arithmetic exception. Here the value 10 has been divided with value 0. Mathematically it is not possible. That is the reason the arithmetic exception is coming, and in the arithmetic exception we are printing the message. We are just simply printing the message. But why this skips the compile time but get caught at the runtime? Because during the compilation the compiler finds that an integer is getting divided by another integer. So it is alright, there is no problem with the syntax or with the declaration. But during the execution time it tries to divide 10 with 0, but it is not possible. That is the reason it is an exception in the runtime, and it is the arithmetic exception. We are defining the catch with the arithmetic exception so that this catch block only executed with this try. This catch block will not executed to any other try block which we are going to discuss later. Okay, so let us move ahead for the second try catch block. Here, this is our second try catch block. Here we are trying to implement the array index out of bound exception. In the try block, first see, we are taking an array which has only 3 elements, but we are trying to get the value of 5th index, which is not possible. We are having an array which has only 3 elements, but we are trying to get the element of 5th index. So this is not possible. That is the reason this exception will execute it. Array index out of bound exception, and here we are printing the error message with the help of the e variable. exception variable. Let us move for the main function. The main function is the simple one. The first we will call the checked exception, and second we will call the unchecked exception. How the complete execution is going, we can understand when we compile the code. So let us go to the compiler. Here we have taken an online Java compiler. If you want, you can take any other local compiler like Eclipse or VS Code. See, whatever we have declared, whatever we have discussed is all is present here. This is the checked. This is the checked function that we have discussed. See, there is the try block, and the second try block. This complete code snippet is for the unchecked exception. This is the first try block, this is the second try block, and here is the main function. So whatever we have discussed all is now present in this compiler, in this online Java compiler. So let us execute our code. Our code has been successfully executed. The first one will be the checked exception. In the checked exception, we are first getting class not found exception CodingZap. Why we are getting this? We are getting this because of this try catch block. We are trying to access the CodingZap class which is not present. That is the reason the catch block will be executed, and in the catch block we are getting this class not found exception get message. This is the same thing that we are getting, right? The next one will be the no such method exception. Because there is no such method Java, this catch block will be executed, and in the catch block there is the print. So no such method exception, and we are getting the error message. The error message is main Java. Because there is no such method main Java, that is why we are getting the main Java as the output. Now printing unchecked exception. So this is the unchecked exceptions output. Why we are getting so? In the unchecked exception, the arithmetic exception, we are trying to divide 10 by 0, which is not possible. That is why the catch will be executed. Catch arithmetic exception will be executed, and this line will be printed. See, we are getting the same line. Arithmetic exception, and this is the exception message. Divide by 0. Alright. The next one will be the array index out of bound exception. As we are trying to access an element of an array which is not present in the boundary, that is the reason we are getting this error. Array index out of bound exception. See, this is written in the catch. Array index out of bound exception, and this is the error message. Index 5 out of bounds for length 3. We are trying to access the index 5, whereas the zap array has only 3 elements. And the main function is correctly executing because this both unchecked and checked function has been called properly. So this is the complete theory, this is the complete process of exception handling. We hope you can understand the process and can implement more exception handling by your own easily. So thank you for watching our video. Goodbye. Happy learning.